Welcome to Gerald Khalil's Conversation Piece. I share my thoughts on social content in sports, politics, and entertainment. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's been debate on the safety of detainees or prisoners when they are transported to either jail or prison. Those in the pro-safety camp will say, though they've committed a crime, they deserve to be treated humanely. Then there's those who say, criminals deserve to be treated like criminals. In other words, if they get hurt while getting transported to jail, they're getting what they deserve. Then there's the debate about cost. One would question, why aren't there any seat belts in the back of a police van? The counter question would be, well, how much would that cost the taxpayers? Well, a couple of years ago in New Haven, Connecticut, a man named Randy Cox was being transported by the police to the police station. He was being detained on the charge of threatening a woman with a gun. While sitting alone, handcuffed, in the back of the police van, the driver of the van made a sudden stop, and Cox slammed headfirst into the back door of the van. As a result, Cox suffered cervical spine injury, along with contusions, abrasions, and injuries to his muscles, ligaments, tendons, and bones, and thus he ended up paralyzed. When it was time for him to exit the vehicle, he couldn't. The police didn't believe him. Cox had pleaded with the officers that he couldn't move and insisted that he had broken his neck. Now, even though this incident happened over 2 years ago, I wanted to bring awareness on how some, not all, police have lack of regard to safety of detainees or prisoners. Let's check out the video.
Can I talk to you for a second?
Randy Cox, whose charges Sunday included illegally possessing a gun because he's a convicted felon, warned police of his condition numerous times.
I can't move.
He couldn't move as a result of crashing headfirst into the prisoner transport van wall during an abrupt stop to avoid a crash en route to the police department. But despite the driver calling for an ambulance, officers back in the detention center dragged Cox out by his legs.
What we've been seeing here from the New Haven Police Department over the past few years is that there's a lack of supervision on the front line.
The supervisor in charge of the detention center, Sergeant Betsy Segee. She was among those disregarding what Cox said.
Sit up.
I can't move.
You're not even trying.
She is among 5 officers now on paid leave, and that includes the van driver, Officer Oscar Diaz, who never told Cox how to be safe in the van.
He's supposed to give an instruction to the passenger to say, listen, sit down, hold the strap in back, because that's the only way you're going to be secure.
And after pulling over to check on the injured Cox, Officer Diaz didn't follow department protocol, which is to call for an ambulance and stay put.
Anytime the police department is transporting a prisoner, the prisoner is in the care and the custody and the protection of that police department.
So you saw the video and you saw how the police treated Mr. Cox, unaware that he had broken his neck and was unable to move. Total negligence by the police. But what if the police van had seatbelts? There was a strap that Mr. Cox was supposed to hang on to keep from sliding around. But the police failed to give him those instructions. But a simple seatbelt would have saved Mr. Cox from breaking his neck and would have saved the New Haven taxpayers a massive payout. In the end, Mr. Cox was awarded a $45 million settlement for the negligence of the police. And though Mr. Cox was handsomely rewarded, his life will never be the same, as well as the officers who were charged with negligence. Also, the state of Connecticut mandated that all police vans must have seatbelts for the detainees and/or prisoners. This is with the hope that nothing like this will ever happen again, and that one day other cities across the nation will follow suit. Leave your comments below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.